Welcome, my fellow wannabes. Welcome to the show. You are listening to The Wannabe Critic, and I am one of your hosts, Gabriel Fast, alongside one of my cohorts, one of my partners in crime, Mikey Collins, via Zoom. How are you, Mikey?
Good. How you doing?
I'm doing good, man. It's been a good day. I've just been kind of, I took a little day off, because you gotta do that every once in a while. Just kind of was listening to some podcasts, watching some documentaries, playing some games, and we're obviously, by the title of this, we are here to talk about a very huge game on the market. We're here to talk about Destiny, and I approached you today. I was like, dude, Destiny, like they're Bungie's making some big moves here. Like they're doing some crazy stuff, and I feel like I want to talk about it today. So here we are. So what I thought this doesn't have to be a particularly long episode. It's just kind of like a news update of sorts. I kind of wanted to just get right into it, if you don't mind. Are you good with that?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So around the time you and I were living together, me and Mike used to be roommates. We were very invested in Destiny and the hype around Destiny. And are you okay?
Yeah, I'm just like hearing every little thing in my mic right now.
Oh, gotcha. Yeah, well, I can't hear anything, so you're good. Just kind of like, Destiny, the hype around Destiny. Like I remember we were living with my parents at the time, and it was like, my dad was like, hey, you guys can't play any, I don't want you to buy any M-rated games, and I mean, that rule didn't really fly. I mean, I didn't adhere to that rule all the time, but I tried to be as respectful as I possibly could, And I remember we were so curious, is Destiny going to be rated M or not? Do you remember that? Us always having this conversation of, is this game going to be rated M?
Yeah.
Yeah, and we came back to the idea. It's like, well, Halo should have never been rated M, and it's not now. It's not rated M now. And it came to the thing of like, I remember, I'll never forget the day we rejoiced because we learned that it was rated T and that we were going to buy it. And I was so excited. And then I feel like that's about the time where we kind of, were you living with, or no, you weren't living with me yet. You were living at home, right?
I was like 16 or 15.
Yeah.
Came out, I think. Because it came out in, what,
2014, yeah. Kind of crazy.
Yeah, so I was still at home because I would have been... Yeah, I would have been like 16 or so.
Yeah,
so, yeah.
Right. So yeah, we're here to talk about Destiny, and kind of like the effect it has on us, and then just kind of like reminiscing from, a younger age, and kind of really wanted to kind of take a journey as to where the series has gotten, the franchise has gotten to today. The event that we got today, watching, I don't know about you, but watching that live stream, I'm just like, wow. You know what I mean? It's kind of a crazy evolution of the game, and we're gonna get into it as much as possible. But first and foremost, ladies and gentlemen, if you didn't know already, you are listening to The Wannabe Critic, as I said before. This is your weekly stop for diversity. Anything from random topics to comic reviews to album reviews to interviews to movie and TV show reviews. Right now we're reviewing the Fast and Furious saga. We throw random topics in there every once in a while, of course. It is your one-stop, family-friendly content shop. In our constant efforts and attempts to make quality content, we have branched off into several podcast feeds, of which are available to you right now. Now, if you go to wannabecritic.com, you'll be able to see all those, all the more information on those. I don't want to read it all here, but you can check out that over there. We got Game Club, A Guy and His Wife, and Storytime, as well as the YouTube channel featured over there as well. So if you want to go check that stuff out, definitely go ahead and do that. But Mikey, getting back to Destiny. Story time about this topic. I remember I very much thought that we were going to be getting Skyrim level storytelling in Destiny with the quests, because that's how the developers made it sound. Do you remember that?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like they were very, very open about what their vision was going forward with Destiny, even with the first game. And I remember I was so excited. I remember launch day, the servers being a complete mess on PlayStation.
Me too.
But you didn't have that problem on Xbox, correct?
Oh no, yeah, we did.
Oh, you did. Okay, yeah. So it was just like this huge one.
That was everywhere, dude.
Yeah, I couldn't want that,
and that's like a year to download it.
Right. Yeah. Exactly. And I remember having a hard time, even really being able to play the game because the internet was so bad in my house. But yeah, it just kind of sucked. But I think that was 2014. I think. Well, no, that can't be right. I was gonna say 2014 was like when we first got wireless internet, but that can't be right. We must it just must have not been because I played Xbox 360 and stuff before then. So,
Yeah,
but
we played at your house all the time on like Halo and stuff
right, yeah, I remember
online.
that. But I remember not being a not long story short, not being able to get into Destiny 1 as much as you. And you very much fell in love with the series from the beginning. You like knew all the lore and like you were looking up the Grimoire stuff and like you were telling me about it and I was like, cool, like not really for me, don't really care. You know, I'm
wish it was in the game.
yeah, exactly. I'm like 18 or 19 at this point and I'm like, yeah, that's cool. Like, but I'm trying, you know, I'm chasing tail and like I'm just kind of figuring out what I'm trying to do creatively and I'm trying to work and, you know, all this other stuff and very much my gaming knowledge. I thought I knew a lot back then. I still think I have so much to learn now, but you think about like your kind of grasp on the knowledge of you just trying to be a student of the industry and kind of learn as much as you can. Me then versus now, it's like not even a comparison. Like I didn't know anything, right?
Yeah.
So I very much wasn't, you know, gaming wasn't, I thought it was my main thing, but it really wasn't. So I kind of fell out of touch with it. And God, is that not one of the biggest mistakes I've ever made in my life, you know, not being able to be a part of.
Yeah, at that time, that was like peak. Yeah.
Yeah. Now, what I'd like to do, you know, and we're just kind of taking a walk down memory lane because we're going to talk about kind of where we think the franchise kind of fell short and maybe a lot of fans can kind of, you know, kind of relate to us of how we felt and like kind of the journey we've seen, even with Destiny 2. So your early impressions of Destiny, like what were things that you kind of picked up on and like things that you really, really enjoyed? Like what were your favorite parts of the D1 experience?
D1 experience. Do you mean like first reactions or just like as a whole?
As a whole, like if you can just sum it up in like a little bit. Yeah, like as a whole, how important is it to you? Or was it to you? It was
probably one of my favorite games with a multiplayer campaign relation. That's something that you never really saw before in a first person shooter because like say a certain gun, and that this translates to Destiny 2 still, a certain gun will be like overpowered in PvP, but the only way you can get it is through the like story, and you have to do a certain difficulty or like get a certain drop. And it wasn't so much random back in Destiny 1 as it kind of is in Destiny 2. So like you knew a certain specific difficulty of a certain event you had to do, and you could get a gun. Like I remember one of my favorite guns was the Red Death in Destiny 1. That was awesome. I think it was called the Red Death, I believe. But yeah, and then that was one of my favorite things because it never made you think like a certain part of the game was not important.
Right.
And I had never experienced that in a game before because there's always like Halo.
Right.
Like you can play Halo and never touch the campaign if you don't want to.
Right.
And like kind of like with the newer ones. And so, but with this game, you have to do it all if you want to experience it as a whole.
Right.
You know, and be good, you know. So that's something I really appreciated about the first one, and just the depth of the storytelling. And like a lot of people say that it isn't deep at all in the first one, but I mean, as soon as you start reading, or like especially like it's not part of the game, but I loved it was the YouTube side of it.
Yeah.
Where you could watch and listen to all the lore that goes into the game.
Right.
And then after doing a mission like back then like 100 times, then you realize like, oh, this is like a really important part of the story, and I've kind of gotten like desensitized to it, you know.
Yeah, like it just you don't really see the bigger picture, really.
Yeah, especially like if you played as much as I played of the first one, like it got kind of monotonous after a while.
Right. You're trying to do the same strikes over and over again to get, exactly where and what gear is going to drop at any what chance you have of certain gear dropping in a certain event, and you're just grinding through trying to get it over. I remember that side of it because I did pop in for the Taken King, and I remember that being a big part of like, like there's only a certain way. Yeah.
The raid was kind of meh. But I mean, it was cool. It was a cool story. That was when everybody started taking Destiny's story seriously.
Right.
Was when the Taken King dropped, because they were like, oh, there's like gonna be like more to this.
Yeah, it was like almost like a Star Wars level event in a lot of ways with Oryx
sure.
I said this on our top 10 games of all time podcast, which you can find on Game Club over by the Wannabe Critic on podcast services.
Just listen to that today.
Yeah, and we talked about how Destiny, meant so much to us, and which was crazy because I came into it so much later in the game,
Yeah.
But now there have been times in Destiny 2 where I'm like, I get it, and I understand now. I understand where everyone was coming from whenever they were trying to tell me, like, dude, get into this thing. And it's like, God, I wish I would have been there from the beginning. And just hearing you talk about, the friends you had made while you had played, and being able to go through certain raids, and you always kind of knew when people were going to be on and like what was happening, right? And the funny thing is there's that video on YouTube where it's like waiting for the other person of your party or of your fire team to get on, that music plays. I wasn't even in it, and that gets me emotional. Like,
oh man,
because that was just such a revolutionary, like, that was such a big movement for gaming and for gamers.
Yeah, and you didn't have to sit there staring at a lobby screen. You could go around and do stuff while you waited for people to join.
Yeah, which was, I feel like that was kind of like, Destiny has very much become the World of Warcraft for consoles, I feel like.
100%.
Like, that's exactly what it is. And I feel like for the first time ever, I feel like there's two huge demographics when it comes to PC players and console players. And obviously we all love games, but we always make fun of the PC players, and the PC players always make fun of the console players. But then for the first time ever, console players are really getting this experience that has really only been a culture of sorts on PC at this point. And now it's coming to consoles, and you have a whole different demographic experiencing that for the first time ever.
Mm-hmm.
And to me, that was like such a big moment because you had this big unifying experience, and no matter how much you played, everyone was kind of in it, in a sense. Like, everyone dabbled in it, right? And I feel like that was kind of a really cool thing to see in gaming. And, Destiny 1 definitely had a big impact on me for even just the little bit that I played it. I've actually been thinking about maybe even going back to Destiny 1 to try and wrap up the Taken King, and maybe even do the Rise of Iron DLC and stuff, because I never played it, never beat it.
Oh, man, the Rise of Iron with the Siva. Oh, man, yeah, that
Dude,
was a cool one.
You might just have to download it. You might have to download it and play it with me.
I'd carry you. I still have probably all my. Well, no, if I'm playing on PlayStation, I don't know if they didn't carry over the stuff from D1.
No, they didn't.
Okay.
No,
yeah,
they didn't.
I'd still do it. It'd be worth it.
Yeah, well, that'd be cool. Like, I don't know. I would like to be able to kind of, do that, like experience that with somebody that I, can like help me get through it.
Yeah, that was something I really wish, because like in D1, it was just me and Jace.
Right.
So it's a three person game. And we were always like, man, I wish Gabe would get on.
Yeah.
Like, I wish he was playing, because we were always a man down. So that's why we started joining like clans and stuff.
Yeah.
Because you couldn't, in the higher tier stuff, you can't complete it unless you have a full fire team. It's like almost impossible unless you're like a god tier player.
Yeah.
Which we were never.
Right. But you played, you knew it well and you enjoyed it. You played it. You did the grind. You did the thing. And I remember you would never shut up about it. And I think there's a part of people where it's like when someone, me and Jason were just talking about this today, actually, of whenever someone won't shut up about something, and it's not just one person, it's everybody is just not shutting up about it. It's like, it kind of turns you off to it. And we were talking kind of how, like, or it can, it can. And like, cause he was talking about The Last of Us, and he was like, I just can't get into it. And I'm like, dude,
he's been really, down on that game.
He was like, I just don't get into it. And I'm like, dude, he's like, I probably play 5 hours of it. I'm like, those first 4 or 5 hours are the weakest part of the game that nobody likes. Nobody likes those first 3 to 5 hours. Like, I mean, we like it, but I kind of gave him an analogy. I'm like, it very much kind of falls into that, like
Red Dead category.
Kind of like, I gave him the analogy of Halo 3, like that first level of Halo 3. Like, you're just trying to blast through it because it's annoying. Like, just to get to the rat's nest type thing. And that made sense to him. So I think he's going to pick it up. But that kind of thing was Horizon for me, and still has been. Like, I try and play a little bit. I'm like, man, it just is not clicking. And I know I just need to give it the time it deserves. But whenever you get soured on something, it's just hard to make the push. But I digress. Destiny was very much the thing. If everyone would not shut up about it, and every time I would get on to play or get a console to get on to play, everyone would quit playing. So I would get a console and play, and I'd begin to it, but everyone would already be kind of burnt out, and I'd be like, God. And that has been kind of the MO of Destiny since the beginning. Is they play for a while, and then you get burnt out, for whatever reason. And I feel like Destiny,
you only have a certain amount of time to do everything.
Right. Bungie is like realizes that.
Mhm.
And now that's been kind of the outcry since the beginning of how do we get away from this? I think they put it in the stream today, this FOMO culture, right?
Yep.
Of how do you make it to where we keep people who want to just play casually? How do we keep them invested, but also have the stuff there for the hardcore players? And I feel like that's what we kind of got in the stream today. And obviously the story with Destiny 2, just very, very, very briefly, I got into Destiny 2 at a time where you really weren't into it.
Yeah,
Like I
that you
think,
kind of you got into it right after all of us kind of had just got out of it.
well, I was there
'Cause I
for
think
I was there day one for the
Mhm.
campaign, and I played through the campaign. I was like, this was awesome, but then I shut it
Oh,
off.
of D2.
Yeah, of
Yeah,
D2.
exactly.
So like
Yeah.
I played the campaign. I was like, this is great. I want more of this. Like I want more of the story, right? And didn't get that for a while.
Yeah, if you would have put as much time as we did into Destiny 1, I think that would have hit you harder because that first part where everything's going to crap is
Yeah,
it's really hard. It was really hard for me to watch like
right.
cuz I was like that was like years I spent like going back to that tower and it's just gone now.
Yeah,
Like it's really sad, but I mean there was definitely holes in the storytelling of
yeah.
2 as well. I'm not saying it was perfect.
Well, I think it kind of fell into that thing of like what they said during the stream today of we only have so much space.
Yeah.
We only have so much space in this game to do this thing, and um, how do you do that of how do you make room for everything? And he's like, we don't want to hit the reset button on everything to make
Yeah.
to make you lose everything.
Mhm.
Instead, and this is what I've said, I think I've said this on the podcast before, the best thing Destiny 2 could do at this point, and it is Destiny 2, but they're really trying to get away from that number 2 and just make it Destiny. Like
Mhm.
Destiny, Lightfall, Witchkeep, or Sister, whatever it is. I'm gonna pull up the content
Witch
slate,
Sister?
Witch Sister, yeah, and then Lightfall. So
Mhm.
whatever that new first season is, that we're getting next or this year. Can't remember what it was. It was the Witch
Beyond
King,
Dark
yeah,
or something.
or something. I don't. Let me look it up really quick.
I watched it like 5 minutes ago. I should.
Yeah, well, that's the thing is, I'm gonna just type in new Destiny seasons. So yeah, the season of Arrival of Light, right? Destiny 2 the season of arrivals is what it's called. And that okay, yeah. So it's season of arrivals, that's currently right now, but they have 3 big events, planned for the next, 2020, 2021 and 2022. And I think that is such a smarter way of doing it and kind of broadly telling us what we can expect and kind of setting the slate very much in a WoW kind of way of this is your big content drops. We're going to be not sunsetting stuff. We're going to be vaulting stuff, right? And I don't want
I
to
like that terminology. A
yeah,
lot.
I do too. I really like, 'cause then it's always that chance of bringing it back. But I like how they're just making it about what they probably wanted to from the beginning, but Activision just screwed them over. It's like, dude, we don't want to make Destiny 2. We want it to be Destiny. Destiny
Yeah.
such and such. Destiny such and such. Like not putting a number on it, like not trying to serialize it. And I think that's a really smart way of doing it because then you just have like this. If they would have done that from the beginning, you would have had your gear from the first game probably.
Oh,
Like
yeah, for sure.
but it's frustrating. It's frustrating to hear the thing of it. But let's kind of get into the details of what the stream showcased, and we'll kind of give our thoughts on it. Because I'm watching this stream, and obviously they had the thing for, there was like a moment, 8 minutes and 46 seconds, and that was a very powerful moment for sure. Just to kind of show their respect for current events going on before they even got into the stream, which I thought was, a good move for sure. So they start off the stream. They're like, there's just 2 guys, the lead directors of the game telling us about what we can expect. And there was nothing about, and I was you told me today, they're like, yeah, dude, people in the chat, they're already like, they're already crapping on it and like throwing shade. And to me, that was another thing of the Destiny community is one of the most toxic communities I've ever seen in gaming, period. Or just even seen. Like, I don't know.
It depends on where you're at. I mean, because like the general like population is like usually like that.
Yeah.
Because they don't like it. and that's the thing about like more hardcore players of Destiny. Like they love the game. They
Right.
love all they want is more content all the time.
Right.
And like the people who crap on it are, I don't want to say like casuals or noobs or any like
Right. 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 Right.
but like most people like I don't know. There's just something about the game that everybody's always immediately negative when something drops about it, but then everybody
Yeah.
loves it. Like once it's like a month in, like
Right.
I don't understand it. It is a weird community that happens
Yeah.
regularly.
It
Where
is,
they
and
drop
that's the
info from
thing.
it.
It's a weird community,
Yeah,
is what I'm trying to say. And I just to me, I'm like, I didn't hear one negative thing. And by the way, ladies and gentlemen,
exactly.
I was checking my levels just now. I got a new microphone. I got the Shure SM7B, so I'm still trying to figure out the levels with it. So if I was clipping or anything, or if it sounds weird, I apologize. I just wanted to, if you see me on my screen right now checking OBS, you know why. But I've never understood really, the toxicity among this, community. And well, in some ways, whenever it's deserved, yeah, for sure. But with this new thing, I'm like, they're literally listening to you as players, the entire player base,
Exactly.
not just the hardcore players, and they're doing that thing of we hear you. I can't remember that the other guy. He was like, we realized like the seasons. He's like, that's on me. He's like, I'm the one that pushed that. Like, that doesn't
Smith.
work. Yeah,
That's
that
his last name.
yeah, that doesn't work. And to me, it's like, yeah, I feel like it's just such. I don't want to feel like I have to make Destiny my life to keep playing it. And Destiny,
Exactly. And that's something that like I think is awesome too though, because like if they are going that route, like somebody like me, I played the crap out of Destiny 1 and 2 while I was single.
yeah,
But now like I have more responsibility now, but I still love that game, but
right.
it's the same build. So I don't it's like almost pointless for me to try to put as much time in as I need to do the events, because I
Right.
don't have that kind of time anymore.
Yeah, and when it's like, I feel like even there's a lot of Destiny players out there. Like whenever you were grinding and grinding and grinding, there was a sense of like, wow, I feel accomplished. Whereas now you grind and grind and grind and get this stuff, and it's like, okay, your next form, here you go, like go for it.
Exactly.
And that's so disappointing because like you
It's
feel like
just
you're like,
endless.
oh, I got the sniper that I wanted. And obviously, it's a loot based game. It is a gear based game. Like that is the whole thing, is the guns, the armor and stuff. And you're proud of this collection you got because you had to put X amount of hours into the game to get it. All I'm saying, I'm not saying that culture is going to go away. What I'm saying is make it cater that, make that still the focus, but make it to where this is available the entire time, which it sounds like that's what they're trying to do. And they're even bringing back, like legacy content from the beginning, bringing it back in to the game for those who, like me, didn't get to experience stuff like the Vault of Glass. They're getting to experience that for the first time ever, which I think is a really, really smart move because it is kind of doing that thing of it's not Destiny 2 by itself or D1. It's like it's Destiny. It's all Destiny. It's all part of the same ecosystem, and it all fits together, and that is incredibly appealing to me as a very casual player, someone who will pop in for a couple months at a time and be like, oh yeah, this was fun, but I don't have the incentive, to want to go, or I feel like I'm looking too hard. There's so much in front of me, but it's like I don't want to do that. I just want to, I want to go do something that's a little bit easier. But it just feels like the longer you play, the harder everything gets until there's something else to do in the next content drop. And it sounds like they're trying to potentially fix that. Is that
Yeah.
kind of what you gathered? What were some of your favorite high points from this stream?
From the stream, I loved how calm everybody was. It wasn't a hyped up, all animated. Everybody's like excited,
Right.
but they were just sitting on two what do they call those actor chairs? I don't even know, but two of those chairs and just chilling, just be like, this is what we got. We're excited to show you. We hear what you're saying. We're working on this. And they like, I love how they pinpointed, like said exact stuff that they were working on and
Yeah.
said, this is what we're doing. This is how we're changing it. Hope you like it. Here's some more video of what we're doing. Thanks for watching.
Right.
Like, that's
Yeah.
awesome. That's simple. And they showed off everything that I would want to see without spoiling anything.
Yeah.
Like, I love that.
A teaser, a glorified teaser of what all 3 seasons. We had the Crota girl, or whatever her name is. What's her name? Mara?
Oh shoot,
I forgot her name. But
dude, I haven't played in months.
Yeah,
So
same. I haven't played since the end of Forsaken. I mean, I haven't even booted it up.
same. That's when I
No,
dropped off.
I mean, not Forsaken's update. I played a couple of the seasons, and it was like, oh, this is really
Yeah.
cool. I like this, and it only lasted about one season, and I was like, okay,
I played up to Shadowkeep, and I was like, oh, and then I got
Yeah.
busy, and I haven't even touched Shadowkeep.
It
at all.
wasn't the whole vibe of the game changed, and was not for me at that point.
Really.
Yeah. I played Shadowkeep for a little bit, and I'm like, I thought I was getting more story. Like, this is a joke. Like, this is not at all what I thought I was going to be getting, So
Mhm.
it's nice to see them realize that, yet again, when something doesn't fit right or something doesn't feel right, they're like, okay, we're here to fix it because we want you to play our game. And we have a cool thing. Like, they have such a good IP, like, such a good thing. And it's finally nice to see the thing that we saw at the end of D2, the pyramids, right? The floating pyramids finally making their way right now. It updated today. That's what it's going to be like. That's the events happening right now. Your arrivals that happen. Like,
Well, dude, that's not really from D2. That's like 14 years ago. That was in concept for D1.
oh yeah.
Those
Right.
ships.
Right.
And
Yeah.
everybody's like, and nobody ever saw anything about them.
Yeah. When I think like we're going to the new planet too, right? Europus, which was original
When Exos are
concept.
made, that's gonna be so awesome.
Yeah, I'm excited for that. My biggest hype moment about this thing, though, like
Mhm.
as far as story goes, learning how to wield the darkness.
Oh man. Yeah.
What is that?
Did you catch I think what we saw in that was a hunter throwing like tomahawks. Did you catch that?
I was playing video games while listening to what they're saying and just kind of
Oh,
like
really?
going over. Yeah, like just. But the fact that they're like, yeah, this is the new element that we're introducing is like how to use darkness. I think that we're gonna get some very cool symbolistic storytelling. Over the next few years.
Okay.
And if they're introducing it now, if they're introducing the darkness now, how is that going to affect the story? How is that going to affect the story moving forward? If the next year of 2022 is Lightfall, are we going to be wielding darkness to try and combat the light that we've grown so fond of and that we're so such in a positive way? Is the Traveler really
Maybe
bad?
Maybe the light isn't as good as
Have
you
the
think.
have the Guardians
know.
lost the Traveler's favor in 2022? I mean, it just raises so many questions of I want to know what happens and I want to be there. Like I want to be there. Are we going to lose? Are we going to lose the Vanguard? That's one thing that comes to my mind is like, are we going to lose Zavala and what's her face next? I mean, there brings a lot of Warlock lady, like there brings a lot of questions to the forefront, you know what I mean, of what we're going to see. So anyways, but I want to continue this discussion. We've been talking for a little bit. What do you say we take just a little break?
Sure.
Okay, cool. And we're back, ladies and gentlemen. Sorry if I was clipping or if I was having any issues. We kind of got that figured out. I just wanted to do something really quick. So kind of going back to, the topic of what these events are going to be doing. Let's kind of hit the high points, like we said, of every stream, of the stream. And you kind of did you already give your thoughts on that? On what you, yeah.
Kind of.
Okay. Yeah. I just couldn't remember. I had to, we took a little break. So the things that really stick out to me is the thing with the darkness, right? Getting a new element to kind of play with. The fact that no matter what console you have, you'll be able to play with everybody. It'll be cross it will be cross platform in a sense, but only in your particular whatever thing you're whatever, if you're PlayStation or Xbox basically. So like PS4 will be able to talk to PS5 and Xbox One will be able to talk to Xbox Series X, and they said maybe even next year that it might be able to go full crossplay, which I think they're just trying to play it safe. I think they're probably working on that right now, is trying to figure out a way to make that happen as soon as possible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if they're doing it with Fortnite and Minecraft and all that,
and Call of Duty,
Destiny.
They're doing it with Call of Duty.
Yeah.
Like you play cross-platform with those people, so why not bring that over to another one of the most popular gaming franchises ever? Period. That was amazing. That did not fall on deaf ears, I don't think. I am really excited to see what they're doing with that stuff. I feel like they're really trying to go a more simplistic route, which makes me really happy. Of this is what this is the broad idea of what we're going to go for. Like we're almost going to try and tell one campaign story over the course of a year, you know, which I feel
I
like
don't know if they'll do that. I don't know if they'll do that big of a gap between stories, but I see what you're going at. The only thing is, like, if
thematically,
that is what they're doing, that's what they did with Destiny 1, kinda, and people didn't like it
yeah,
because they did space out story like that, and there's only so much you can say about one storyline
yeah.
in this universe,
Well, and
But
that goes back to the thing of how else are you going to move your game forward? Like there's only like how are you going to stretch out a year's worth of content? There has to be
exactly,
some story in there, there has to be.
yeah, sure,
And obviously, we have the filler events that are going to be that take place every year, like the solstice event, right? And then the whenever you're trying to complete the challenges, the something Vigil of Heroes or whatever, we'll have that to do. And there's obviously going to be filler events that happen throughout the thing, but I liked the idea of trying to get told a story kind of like what we had with Shadowkeep, but actually make it good, and make it more consistent. Like have story beats just kind of naturally occur, kind of like what they talked about with the last update. That's what they wanted to do. Is you might get a story beat that someone else didn't get because you did a specific event. Like tie everything back to the story,
yeah,
and the lore, and make grinding fun. Like make the grind worthwhile and make it rewarding. Like if it's gonna wear off after a certain period of time, like add a sense of being rewarded back into the game, because it doesn't have that right now, and that's why so many people have quit playing. So many hardcore players have quit playing, is because that sense of accomplishment fades away so fast and is so fickle because of the format they've set up. Make something more long-standing, and people saying that for X amount of time, I think even from the beginning of D2, now it's finally in a place where it's like they can do that. And I think I'm hoping that that's exactly what happens, because you and I both have fell into this thing of I am not going to play Destiny ever again multiple times. Like have thought I don't want to play this game, like have no desire to pick up this game again, all this other stuff. And it seems like every once in a while another event comes around or something else rolls around. It's like, okay, that looks pretty dope. For me, the turning point was Forsaken. Didn't care about Destiny 2, didn't want to get back into it until Forsaken. Literally. So up until Forsaken, I was kind of like grinding on some events, and I was like, oh, this is actually pretty fun. I like what they've done with this. I kind of wish I would have stuck around, but it's just the time. I don't want to invest the time of
that's a big part of it.
I don't want to invest the time of not even having to. I don't want to have to play the game every day. Like, I don't. You just, no matter how much you love something, you got to give it a rest. Which you might be listening to this right now and saying, Gable, you must not like MMOs. I do like MMOs. That's the thing. And I love first-person shooters. So why isn't this speaking to me? Make it speak to me on a more personal level throughout the entire experience rather than just in bits and pieces. What is something that, because you've obviously spent more time with the franchise than me, what's something that you hope they integrate or something that you would like to see maybe even come back from Destiny 1?
Haven't thought about that. Well, I mean, the raids, obviously.
Yeah.
I mean, they're doing that, or at least with one of them for now, which I would love. I mean, they're awesome. I've had some of the best times in Destiny and in the vault, and like just so many different things. Even just like if they could somehow integrate the story, so somebody could get the story of Destiny 1 into somehow.
Yeah.
That would probably play to their benefit, because there's so many people that play Destiny 2 like yourself who have never actually completed Destiny 1 to 100%.
Right.
Because it's hard to go back to that when everybody's playing the second one.
Well, and I think that might be kind of the goal, is to take like the greatest hits of what they were talking about, like take the best parts of Destiny 1 and maybe even make that like its own little event or campaign. Like, hey, go.
I wonder if they're gonna do it in order. That would make sense if that's what they're wanting to do. That way, if they are giving these experiences for the people, like they're saying, that haven't experienced them, I hope they do in an order, because if they do them out of order, I think it's just going to confuse like new guys a lot.
Yeah, I mean, how hard would it be to add someone, an event center in the tower? How hard would it be to just go to the tower and it's like, okay, like how they do with the Vigil of Heroes stuff, like the Solstice armor that you get, you go back and replay missions from the Destiny 2 campaign to get the armor. Do the same thing with the Destiny 1 missions. Like pick the high points from every single event that happened in Destiny, and maybe even add an option for the raid, like make a little kiosk for Destiny 1. Mm-hmm. Take out some of the old crap that no one's doing, like what they were talking about, and bring in the old stuff after you do that. I don't know. And obviously, I'm not a game developer. I don't know how much goes into it. It just seems like if that's the route they're trying to go, I feel like we're on the same page with this.
It opens up so many more options, because since they are doing that, they don't have to focus on things that are dying and that nobody's actually playing, or that nobody wants,
right?
Because that's always been a big problem with Destiny with me, like, because there will be things that I'm like, oh, that's cool. I'm never going to do it, but that's cool,
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, just tiny things that they'll introduce that they think is amazing and nobody wants it,
Right. Well, and they did say that they're opening up the Cosmodrome. So that awesome. Might be the hub of like, maybe that's where you go if you want to experience the D1 stuff from the Cosmodrome, as you go there.
So much of D1 was in the Cosmodrome.
Yeah, I mean,
basically, every big story point was in the Cosmodrome.
Right, and I remember
except for when you were on the moon.
Well, and he was talking about that main strike and the Kex strike, I think is what he said, or something like that.
And the what?
He said there's a strike that was like one of the most important strikes. Something.
Oh, yeah, it was in the beta. Like, it was awesome.
Yeah, with the spider, right?
It was partly a spider, but the end. Have you ever done it?
Well, the one I'm saying is like you go into that big open area, like on the far side, there's like that giant mechanical spider, and then after that, that's like the mini boss, and then you progress to the next.
There's a mini boss, and then you're like, oh crap, there's another one. Yeah, and then there's like the giant Servitor at the end.
Yeah. I remember that, and like it opens up, and like the ships are coming in.
That was in the beta,
right? And that was in the trailer. That was in the trailer they showed off too. I was like, oh yeah, and I remember that. Yeah, and like, I mean, that's the thing too, is I feel like they're getting to the point of what their original intent was for Destiny, and they've had to go through this huge journey and all this like negative bullcrap to get to where like what they actually want to do,
Yeah. Now the chains are off.
Yeah, now that the chains are off, it's like sky's the limit, and now you have to like there's going to be a fallout of now you have to undo in a tasteful and slow trickle way of undoing everything that was in place whenever you had those chains on.
Which is what these next 3 seasons or these 3 chapters will be for you.
Yes.
And that's what I think, because like they have so much that's awesome about the game, but they also have so much in the game that they didn't want to do.
Yeah. Right.
Like what you're saying.
Like all the microtransaction crap and like all of like that's not Bungie. Like that's EA or that's Activision.
Well, some of it is. I mean, especially if they're going to be pumping out so much content.
The good parts of it, like not the stuff that was lame, that's like no one wants this. Like I don't know.
I don't know. Like I don't want to say that Bungie is completely free and clear of all the microtransaction hate, because I'm sure like they've never really done microtransactions, and part of that might have been them not knowing what they were doing.
Yeah. Well, and all I'm saying is I don't want to have any content or any experience locked behind. Yeah.
And that's what they've been changing. Yes. I think that was their main focus, because they didn't want, like, especially now, because there's nothing trapped behind a paywall. Like, all there is like skins and stuff, but they have no bearing on your gameplay, which is perfect.
Yeah.
Titanfall got it right, so I know that Bungie can do it right.
Yeah, totally. And only the future is going to bring in. Obviously, this is just kind of like a hype episode for this thing. But dude, like, I'm excited to see what's going to happen with Rasputin. Like, I'm excited to really kind of experience some more of the lore leading up to these events, and really being a part of this next season. And that's like I'm kind of getting more into a multiplayer swing, more recently. So it's been like, okay, I go through phases of like, I hate multiplayer and I want to enjoy it, hate it, want to enjoy it, hate it, and it goes up and down. And I could see this if it's going to be a more casual experience, or if here's the thing. Here's what I want to see. I don't want to see the hardcore people get their experience taken away. I want more added for the casual players. So you can keep that culture for the hardcore people there already. But for people like me who just want to pop in a couple times a week, make it like how it was with Halo Reach. Like, go back to that. That worked. Because I knew if there was only going to be a certain amount of challenges unlocked or whatever over the course of a week, but I couldn't see what those challenges were, or I didn't really know it was upcoming, but they would unlock more throughout the week, I'd be like, okay, this is awesome. Or just being able to see what you have working on and don't take what I'm working on away. Like, let me work on it at my own pace and don't make me feel like I'm falling behind. Let me get to another place of I can still play with my hardcore guys and they don't have to do baby mode with me.
Yeah.
But have
exactly.
more baby mode in there for me. You know, like
Yeah.
if I want, and I say baby mode, that's in terms of time spent, not not in terms of, it's more in terms of time spent rather than the difficulty of the game itself, right?
Yeah.
That's what I want to see, and I think that's what a lot of people want to see, but they don't really know how to voice the opinion without being toxic, right? And we talked about this a little bit earlier. I feel like they're really much on the right path, and I don't see how anyone could be upset with this stream and this information of this update we got.
Me either. Yeah, there's always people that all they want to do is hate, and that's fine. If that's how people want to act. I mean, that's cool. But I mean, there's more people supporting this than people not supporting it.
Right.
Because, like, yeah, I don't know. As soon as people like get out of the house and have jobs and don't have time, then if you're not a major league pro gamer, you lose time with video games, and it's hard to not be able to play your game, and it's frustrating because you want to play your game, but there's almost no point. So I think that's the people like us that they're trying to get back that are busy and don't have time to sink 30 hours a week into a game,
right?
Or more,
right?
So
to be top tier.
I'm excited. I'm so
excited. I am excited, and I am kind of the mindset that if they grab me with this next, because it's going to be money, you're going to have to pay for it.
Oh yeah.
If this isn't the experience that I want, this will be the last time that I ever spend money on Destiny.
I say that
every single time, right? And that's how we're going to end the show. Because I think I said that last time about Forsaken, and it was like right whenever I almost deleted Destiny 2 the other day because it was taking up so much space. I almost deleted it. And I was like, you know what? I like a good match in the Crucible every once in a while. Like, I've worked really hard, like getting Redrix's broadsword and like all these other guns that I worked so hard to get and grinded for so long to get. And I'm like, there's a lot of people that don't have this gun, even if it's not the meta anymore. Like, okay, I'm not going to just delete that, because it will take 2 days to re-download because my internet's so bad. But yeah, like, I'm right there with you, man. So let's take this journey together. Maybe we could play some Destiny leading up to this and like get Destiny 1, dude. Like, let's do it because I want to go through it and I want to, I just want to experience it. So
yeah.
You have anything else you want to say?
No, there's a plane going over my house.
I can hear it, but that's okay. It's okay. It's we're not in a multi-million-dollar studio. I know that I give that impression by what you see in here, but we don't.
Same.
So
Same.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to The Wannabe Critic. You can email us at geeklybiweekly1. That's geeklybiweekly1@gmail.com. You can find us on all social media platforms at The Wannabe Critic. You can definitely check out our website, wannabecritic.com. Our full content schedule and slate, of our regularly programmed, scheduled content. You can find it there, what we're going to be reviewing on Game Club, the whole nine. We even got some merch up. Like, we got some if you want to support us, you want to buy a t-shirt or a sticker, or just, really, we're not making any money off of it. Like, I make like $1 off every t-shirt. I tried to make them as cheap as possible because we just want people to like want to be a part of this with us and rep like what we're trying to put out there, So if you just want to buy something to support the brand, like that means the world. So thank you so much for listening. Definitely check that stuff out. Mikey, I know that you don't want people to find you, and that's fine. But you do now.
I do now.
Really? Where can people find you? I'm gonna go follow you right now. This is news to me.
Find me on Twitter.
Really?
Uh-huh.
Okay, let's see this. What's the Twitter handle?
Wannabe Mikey C.
Wannabe Mikey C. I love it. Wannabe Mikey C. I don't see it.
Wannabe it's all one word, and
Yeah.
then Mikey, and then the literal letter C.
Oh, wannabe Mikey.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't see it. You'll have to
I'll
send it
get
to
you.
me.
I'll get
Okay,
you.
okay, cool. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in. Thank you for preparing yourselves for a plethora of hot takes and potentially unpopular opinions. We're really excited for what we got going on here on the show. We're trying to really ramp up our content, really make it look as legit as possible, and continue to improve our audio quality and they just improve the quality of the show. And it's just been a really cool journey the past couple years, and we look forward to what's in the future. So thank you for tuning in, and we will see you guys next time. Say goodbye, Mikey.